Parashat Balak. The Torah tells us the story about a king who was a magician that orders to him and invites to him the biggest magician in the world at the time that will come and curse Am Yisrael. That magician slash prophet, Bilam ben Be'or, in the beginning didn't want to come. At the end, he says, okay, fine, and he goes to the job. It's something like, let me think about this, I'm not quite sure, to increase the price a little bit, it doesn't seem to make himself so interested in that. He has, on the way, he has a conversation with his donkey, and an angel is revealed, and when they are together with the Melech Moab, the king of Moab, Balak ben Tzipor, they're trying to do something together against the Jews to curse them. They build altars, they bring sacrifice, and it's really trying to put a big effort to harm Am Yisrael. Not only that the mission was a failure, but every time that Bilam wants to curse the Jews, he ends up blessing the Jews. And at the end, he gives of course, the famous advice to how to destroy Am Yisrael. And that's what we have next week, the Parasha, this week, and then, famous Parasha, at the end of this Parasha, of the issue of Pinchas. And I don't know, it just doesn't sit right. It sounds almost like to say, but like fairy tales and stories. Here we're in the middle of Sefer. Which Sefer are we in? Bamidbar. What are we dealing with Bamidbar?
Numbers.
Bamidbar.
The desert.
The desert. All the halachot, everything, halachot, and this, and that. All of a sudden, stories like this, there's something happening here, and then, like we always do, every time something seems weird, we try to learn from that further. And we need to, I guess, first try to see who, in a short way, who really are Balak and Bilam, and why. What was the problem? What do they really care about the Jews? Really, what's your problem? What do you want from us? And if there is a war, what kind of a war is really happening here? Like, for example, right now you would think that we, as the United States, are not in any war with anybody else. Leave aside Afghanistan, but we're not in a war with anybody else. And that's what it seems on the surface. Practically speaking, there is a cyber war that goes on every single day. United States hacks into China, China into United States, Russia, you name it. And it is a war. So yes, right now we don't have a sword and shields kind of a war, but there is some kind of a conflict that is really boiling under the surface. So let's see what it is. And what exactly happened? That's what the Zohar writes, that this time was maybe the most difficult time for the history of Am Yisrael, which is in a way more severe for the time they were in Mitzrayim, and even after the Egel, this is a more severe case. So therefore we need to see also, besides those points, what does it tell me? So in Sefer Bamidbar we have something that's quite interesting. We mentioned many types of mouths in Sefer Bamidbar. We have Pi Habe'er, the mouth of the well. We have the V'tiftach ha'aretz et Pia, and the earth opened up its mouth. We have Pi Ha'aton, the mouth of the Aton. And this is not really just like as an incident. It's just not coincidental that it happens. There's something very important that is happening here. And what is happening here, we are having revealed to us the power of the mouth. And that power of the mouth is revealed to us through the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu, that he himself had some mouth issues himself. And in his time, the mouth of the world was supposed to be revealed. It says until Matan Torah, the mouth of the world was closed. We know that the baby, an embryo in his mother's womb, the mouth is closed, the belly button is open, and all the nutrients and everything goes through the belly button while the mouth is closed. Until Matan Torah, the belly button of the world was open. In other words, only issues, materialistic issues of feeding, and so on and so forth, bodily needs were going on, and the mouth itself was not active. I mean, people were talking, but it was not active in terms of fulfilling its purpose, and beyond that, its spiritual purpose. When we talk about the mouth and the belly button, we're also talking about different levels of spiritual revelation, or spiritual stages that we're at. Those different stages of spiritual are the different stages of revelation of spiritual wealth, shefa ruchani, spiritual wealth. As is the example, the mouth is higher than the belly button, so therefore that interaction, the ruchani, is higher than the spiritual, is higher than the physical as well. At the time of Matan Torah, just like the baby when he was born, the mouth started to open up, and the belly button closed. You can't have two openings. This closes, this opens. That is Kabbalat Torah. It's receiving the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opened this gate to reveal lights that still were not present in the world. The mouth also takes food. But let's look at how it works. It doesn't go from here up. When you have food coming from this side up, it's not good. Let's just hope you have somewhat of an indigestion. I don't know if you ever had it. You like lay in bed, all of a sudden you have this like surge of acid that comes from your stomach. You jump out of bed like, that's not good. What does it tell you? It tells you that let's turn it into a spiritual work. It tells you that when the food becomes the focal point of your body, of your essence, and there's no spiritual element to it, it will burn you. It's very hard. The direction should be from up down. That there's going to be the spiritual element of eating, only then the physical element of eating. The hashpa'ah, the influence, is from up to down, not from down to up. It says in Shir HaShirim, Nafshi yatz'a b'dibro. My soul came out when he spoke to me. When you speak, which is very interesting, a part of your nefesh, a part of yourself, is being revealed. And this is, this becomes slowly a part of, it becomes your speech, and you somewhat reveal yourself, really who you are. From his soul, a person, you can really cause a lot of damage without even hurting a hand, lifting a hand, or inflicting physical contact. You can destroy a person to the point that, God forbid, might even commit suicide just with your words. This is the hashpa'ah of the words. This is how important it is to pay attention to what you say. And it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave his nefesh to Am Yisrael through the Torah. And it's it's interesting. I was thinking about it the other day. If I'll take a sparrow, a bird from the United States, and I'll take a sparrow from Israel, and I'll take a sparrow from China. A sparrow is a sparrow. They all communicate. They speak sparrowish, I guess. Humans are the only species that speaks in different languages, but they all speak. Humans, I've never seen a sparrow that could imitate or could communicate with an eagle. Eagle does not understand, and I cannot teach it. A human can learn different languages. You can learn Mandarin and you can learn Lakota. You can learn Navajo and you can learn Swedish, where you yourself are really from downtown Brooklyn. Only humans have that. That is the manifestation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in us, giving us the ability, that's revelation, that godly aspects of one of the godly aspects in us is our ability to speak through, or to communicate through speech, and the ability to speak altogether. Some Chachamim says that if you really want to see who the person is, you should really take overall his words, whatever he spoke, and you can tell what the character of the person is. Not how he used his voice in a drama and so on, just like the words, the dibur, the spoken word, when he said, the context of his words, and you can tell who the person is. Moshe Rabbeinu was at the beginning of his career was aral sfatayim. He wasn't a man of words. Some people say he started. Some people say he just didn't have the words. He was not expressive like this. I don't know. We know it was aral sfatayim. And we need to remember that any person that has a special tikkun, something specific that he needs to speak, to fix, So therefore the first or the initial interaction that he has is that would manifest itself is exactly the opposite of the purpose. Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to be the one who teaches the people. He was supposed to be the one in which the mouth, the spoken word of God will come to this world. He was Arel Sfatayim. You want another example? No problem. I'll give you another example. Take Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, the whole entire Torah that we have today. At the beginning, 40 years old, he didn't know how to read and write. He didn't know Torah. It was a nothing. It was a shepherd. So whatever comes to you hard, that's your tikkun. That's what you need to fix. Once you fix it, the gate floods are open up and you will really able to live your purpose. Whatever is difficult for you. So if, for example, it is difficult for you to wake up in the morning, some way, through this difficulty, if you will be able to overcome it, your purpose would be revealed. I'm not saying you should be the one who goes and bangs people, like a wake-up service. But your purpose is going to be revealed throughout what is difficult for you. Which is very interesting. So, Moshe Rabbeinu was supposed to be the one, as we said, the mouth, the one who opened up the mouth and gave us the Torah. Therefore, the initial phenomena by him, he was Arel Sfatayim. He couldn't speak until he became the one who spoke the most. We call it Rosh HaMedabrim because it says, Elu advarim asher. These are the words asher diber Moshe el kol Israel be'ever hayarden. Sefer Dvarim, the beginning of Sefer Dvarim. He spoke to them. He didn't need Aharon. He spoke to them. Therefore, at the time of Moshe, all the mouths, so-called, were opened up. That even if they couldn't speak, they spoke. That overflow, even of prophecy, came because of Moshe Rabbeinu. The spoken ability was so great and so powerful at the time of Moshe that even what? Even a donkey spoke. The mouth of the earth opened up, that major mysterious sinkhole that swallowed Korach and his company. And it opened up to swallow all those who want to prevent, those who want to fix the world and do the purpose. And they disappeared. Chazal said that the story of Bilam is in a way a sefer, a part of the Torah just by itself. It's called Sifro Shel Bilam, which is a separate sefer from the Torah itself. The question is, why was Bilam so important? We spoke about it before. We were talking about Masechet Avodah Zarah and so on and so forth. Some jewels there about the conduct of Bilam, and I don't want to get into it right now. But why was it so important? We said that, and the Ari says us also, that he is the opposite of Moshe Rabbeinu. The equal and opposite of Moshe Rabbeinu. As we say, Zeh mul zeh, this against this, one against the other, equal. It's very important to remember that, and we'll show you Bezat Hashem why. Moshe Rabbeinu, according to the Kabbalah, was against or parallel to the Sfera of Da'at, knowledge. And Da'at also could be looked upon as something else. Da'at could be chibur, connection, unification. Why? Because when we say to a person, the Torah, when the Torah refers to an intercourse between a man and a woman, it refers to as the men yeda'ah, the ish lo yeda'ah. It says also here, ve'adam yada et chava ishto, v'tahar v'teled kain. And he, quote unquote, knew her. I don't know what I'm doing this. Forget those. Let's take it out. Delete. I don't know what I'm doing this. I don't like when people do it, and I find myself doing that as well. So let's not do that. Delete there. So he knew her, because the Torah speaks in a clean language. As we said before, you want to know what's the essence of the Torah, of anything, look at what it was. The Torah speaks in clean words. Clean, when I say clean, I mean clean with exclamation mark, not with quote unquote. Here, I did it again. But clean. You're not going to find any profanity or any words of profanity in the Torah. It is clean. Clean. Chibur, connection, unity, has a derivative from it. Something is born. Something is created from that. On Bilam also, it says, Veyada Da'at Elyon. And he knew the Da'at, the knowledge of the superior one. Rav Scheinberger says that the Da'at is what leads the mochin betoch haguf, what leads the intellect inside the body, and ma'avir et ha'orot el hakelim, brings the light into the vessel, is the one who the instruments which appropriates the lights into the vessels, connects the body with the head, or the head with the body. So Moshe Rabbeinu was bibchinat in the realm of Melech Hadat. He was the king of that. Anything that was in the world, he was able to connect it with the moach, mechaber oto im haguf. The goof, the body, receives the flow from the brain, and then the flow comes from the da'at throughout your whole entire body. It's this connecting part, something that connects your heart and your intellect together to make it equal, to be able to work in internal harmony. You have to have this knowledge. Even if you said, I need to know, I have to have the knowledge to know how to maintain my body, not to eat, not to drink certain things, not to smoke at all, not even certain things at all. I also need to do how to control the health of my mind, of my intellect, of my spirit, and so on. That's the connection to do that. All has to work together. I cannot do something for my body that will be bad for my spirit. There's something good for my spirit that's going to be bad for my body. It has to be put together. Moshe Rabbeinu is the leader of Am Yisrael. He's the leader of generation. and he's the one who leads the people in the ways of Hashem. As much as HaKadosh Baruch Hu is above all and everything, and he's very so-called humble, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not arrogant, so he's a leader, needs to be above all, to be able to bring the flow from above. He needs to draw the flow. It's like the same thing as you have a water tower of a city. It's at the highest place. You say, oh, this thing is arrogant. It's the highest place. No, it's needed to be there. Why? So I can bring the water, the livelihood, to all the people. So I can open the faucet and I have water coming down. It's not because the water tower, quote unquote, without the hands, is arrogant. It's because it is needed there. It's a metaphor for how things come down. In order to have a flow, I need to have a vehicle which brings it down, an instrument that brings that flow, this abundance down here to this world. Of course, the question is, are you ready for the flow? And the answer would be no. Most people are not ready for the flow. That's why most people are not willing to become leaders. People like to follow. We were supposed to be the leaders of the world. We have a problem with that. I'm not saying we should be arrogant, because if you're arrogant, you're not a good leader. You have to be humble. And only because you're humble, you go up. You're able to bring it down. You can mingle. We say, Am badadishkon, a nation by itself. That's a good thing, because then you cannot bring the shefa down. So when Balak gives the bracha to Bilam, brings the bracha to Am Israel, he says, Am badadishkon, a nation by itself. It might seem a bad thing. No, it's a good thing, because we are the ones who bring the shefa, the abundance, down to this world. The problem is we don't want to do that. So in a way we affect the whole creation. Affect everything. The shefa cannot come, the abundance cannot come to this world. It's not that we're aloof. It's not that we are arrogant. It's not that because, God forbid, we're racist or anything. We are not. That's the job that I need to do. And that's why the Jews need to be humble. And a leader is a person that does not feel like everybody owes him anything. That needs to be done, and he's doing it. We don't have leaders today. Anywhere in the world. It's just today's leaders in the world are just the complete opposite of what a leader should be. Worldwide. And Bilam is just the complete opposite. Bilam wants to use his opportunity and all his power to do one thing, is to control others, to do what he wants. He is a control freak. Quite of a character. I mean, it's like, one-eyed Billy comes like this, he's limping a little bit, one eye is closed. There's a whole production around him, but he's and I'll show you why I said that. I always say to you something about control people who like to control. Usually people who have no control over themselves, or feel they have no control. So therefore, it is easier to control others, to control themselves. That's why they're control freaks. But there is another element to controlling people, which I'll show you in a second. So Bilam is just the opposite. He wants to control others, to do his will. Bilam, from the word bliya, to swallow. He wants to swallow everything. He wants to use everybody to his own personal interest. Exactly. From bliya, swallowing, is the complete opposite from hashpa'ah, influence, flow. To bring down, to be mashpia, is to bring down about. A manhig, a leader, like Bilam, is a leader that wants, the whole his intention is to receive, and an intention to destroy. These are two different types of leaders, and yet we all possess those qualities one way or another. We all. We all have the power of Bilam, and we have the power of Moshe. That's why they have to be equal counterparts. So you would be able to make a proper decision. If one is weighing more than the other, your decision is not proper. It's not a fair decision. If this one is higher than this one, or this one is higher than this one, it's not a free choice. Sometimes I'll pick up the higher one because I want to gravitate towards power and gravity. The other ones I'll pick up the underdog because I like underdogs. Most people like underdogs, regardless of who it is. It could be the biggest enemy, but they always pick up an underdog. People like the underdog. It's a certain sense of ownership, of patronizing the underdog. Like you're doing them a favor. Meanwhile, they might kill you, but they take the underdog. You want to see what I'm talking about? Go look at the Palestinians. That doesn't make a difference. They're going to train their kids to kill people, to war. Go look in the schools. But everybody likes them because they are the underdog. It says that the people of Moab were very scared from the fact that Bnei Israel came to were passing by since they won the battle of the great kings of Sichon and Og. Therefore, they nominated Balak on them, which was their enemy until that point, and they made peace with their Midianites. Midian is where Saudi Arabia today, which is not quite understood. What's the panic? What's the big deal? It is known to everybody that Kadosh Baruch Hu warned the Jews. It says not to fight with Moab at all. So Balak could not, he could have just sat there quietly, and he, knowing the fact that Am Yisrael was commanded not to have war with them, and nothing will happen to him. So why is he afraid? Why is he so petrified? What's so scary about it? Right? I mean, he knew since Ruth is going to come out of there, King David, so we couldn't do war with them. But, something was about him that was wrong. I'm just going to tell you something. So I saw Yosef coming here, so I'm going to tell you a little Gematria, Yosef. Gematria of Bilam is 142. The numerical value of the word Bilam is 142, which is the same numerical value of a coward, Pachdan. Bilam was a control freak. He was a coward. The numerical value of Balak is 132, which is mefached. He is afraid. So therefore, what was exactly Balak was so afraid? Balak was not stupid. He knew, he understand that there is here not a physical threat, but rather a spiritual threat on the essence of his own existence just by having Am Yisrael around. Am Yisrael posed at the time a great stress. We already stated before the whole concept of Shabbat being a revolution in the world. Shabbat is the initiation, I cannot stress it enough. Shabbat is the initiation and the introduction of the concept of freedom to the world. It was dangerous for the people at the time to have freedom around. And I told you this before. Every nation that wants to fight freedom would first fight the Jews, because the Jews represent freedom. Or Judaism represents freedom. He understood that a physical power is not going to help him against the Jews. That's why he needed spiritual power. He referred to the Savior of Israel, right, which is in Yeshayahu, Al tirai tolat Yaakov. Don't be afraid, so-called the worm of Jacob. What is the worm? The Midrash says, what is the worm? A worm, the whole power of the worm. The body is really like nothing, it's smushed. But the whole power of the worm is in his mouth. Kach Israel, this is the Jews, their power is in their mouth. Teachers, lawyers, don't need to say more. Therefore, Balak was looking for someone who has also a ability and power with his mouth. He went to Bilam to curse the Jews. This parasha, in other words, talk about a struggle a conflict of superior power, spiritual powers, not a battle of physical, spiritual powers. Both of them were the leaders of the campaign of Tum'ah, of impurity in this world, Balak and Binam. They were the great magicians, the experts for magic, for black magic, for spiritual fraud. And you have to be very careful from those who try to sell you spiritual fraud. It's not good. It's very common. All this magic that people do, spells and potions, that's spiritual fraud. These people should go to jail. So therefore they go to war with the spiritual power of Am Yisrael. There is here more than that. There is a struggle here over control over the world. Which side will control the world? Jews? Freedom? Purity? The magicians? Impurity. There is a remiss to that. If you take Balak and Bilam together, numerical value. Take Balak and Bilam, put it together, you get
276.
274.
Oh, 142, 130.
274. If you take the name Leah, and you take the name 36, Rachel, 238, you get together 274. Again, Tum'ah, Tahara. Rachel and Leah represent the 12 tribes, the tremendous love and bond that these two sisters had for each other, which brought the tribes of Israel. On one side, you have Balak and Bilam together. On the other side, equal parts trying to overcome each other. Who is going to control the world? I'm going to ask you now, which side do you choose? Every time you're about to do something that is not associated with this side, you know which side you chose. You failed again. You're going to face your mother Rachel or our mother Leah in Shamayim? Moshe Rabbeinu, what are we going to say? Forget about Ribono Shel Olam. What are we going to say? What a choice we made. We at the moment that we chose to be like the rest of the people, not to stick to our purpose, we created a blockage. It's like nicotine block. When you smoke a cigarette, take a puff, another puff, every cigarette you take, another blood vessel gets clogged. Every time we make the decision not to live life as a Jew, we are clogging another vessel of shefa, of abundance that comes to this world. How are you going to fix this? You can't fix the nicotine that you smoked. You can't. It stays in your body. It's tar. It stays in your body. How are you going to do it? If it gets so bad, you can't breathe. You choke. And then, chas v'shalom, you die. That's the same thing that happens to you spiritually. Eventually the tum'ah takes over you, the impurity takes over you, and it chokes you. And you die spiritually. Think about that next time you make a decision. So who was Bilam? Bilam, good old Bilam, like any good family, or any bad family, somehow there is a connection. He was the grandson of no other than Lavan HaArami. Yeah. And he had great spiritual powers. They came again. Why from Lavan? Because our mothers Rachel and Leah came from there. Again, equal parts, equal sides. Where are you going to choose? Remember what I told you when they buried Moshe Rabbeinu? They buried Moshe Rabbeinu right across from Baal Peor, the biggest Avodah Zarah of the world, the biggest idol worshipping of the time. It is so powerful that I told you that it exists even today. Not in practice, but in attitude. And there is a valley in between to remind the Jews where you're going to be. You want to be like this? You want to be like this. It's always the same. So if you feel that the Yetzer Hara is overcoming you, you are fooling yourself. Because just as much as you have a desire to do the sin or the Averah that you're doing now, you have the same ability to do this. You chose to have it like that. That's why you get punished. It's equal. Equal. Don't fool yourself. Oh, I have a big Yetzer. You have a big Yetzer. You have a good Yetzer also. Exactly, side by side. They're walking like this. You choose. You get punished. You get the reward. Very simple. As much as you don't want to get up in the morning from bed, there is exactly 50% inside of you that wants to get up, that wants to do the right thing. Don't tell yourself you can't. You choose not to. And it says, Rashi said that that Bilam, the Gemara said also, was just as powerful in prophecy as Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? Again, so there will be a choice of people where they're going to listen. All the people. So now we can understand what the Zohar says, that when Balak and Bilam came to fight Am Yisrael at the time was in the biggest danger of all. Because it's not a physical battle. It is a spiritual battle. It is the battle on the da'at, on the knowledge. Da'at shlema, a complete da'at. Complete knowledge, complete wisdom, complete intellect is a complete unification. Which that chibur, that unification, is the essence of the dedication in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with. As long as Am Yisrael is dedicated and attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, no nation and no language could control them. The problem starts when the connection between the Jews and God is loosening up. When the da'at, the knowledge, gets weak, there's no chibur. When I don't know that she is my wife, I separate, I break apart. Moshe was da'at mitzad kedusha. He was da'at from the side of the holiness. Balaam was the klipa of the da'at. When Moshe wants to put things together, Balaam wants to put things apart. Separate, divide, and conquer. Stay away from people who do that. They don't have kosher intentions. They themselves are not kosher. So when he sees he cannot do that, the only thing that Balaam can think of is to create a scenario in which would be separating Am Yisrael from their God, and that is fornication. And God does not like improper relationship. We call it in Hebrew znut. You want to know what znut is? Look outside. A completely deterioration of all moral values or virtues. Nothing. It all goes today. That's not something that creates love. You see, there's no chibur. People don't get married. And those who are married, divorce. And everybody does all these things. There's no connection there. There's no chibur. There's no family. There's no continuation. Only through connection, understanding, having the knowledge. That's what I need to do. I would like to have a family. I'm connecting myself. There is a continuation. There is growth. There is hope. When there's no doubt like this, there's nothing. We also know that those struggles and conflicts that used to exist in the past exist today as well, as the Torah tells us, and not only in the world, but also in the soul of the person. So therefore, let's try to see who Balak and Bilam are inside of us. Balak and Bilam are the shoresh, the root of one thing that we know we always beget. Amalek. If you take the word Balak and the word Bilam, the last letters of Balak and Bilam will form together Amalek. Amalek, the gematria of Amalek is? Safek, that's right, doubt. Which is also the gematria of bitter. Mara. When you have doubts, your life is bitter. קצת אנחנו נהיה באיחור 5 אולי 10 דקות. כי הם התחילו באיחור למעלה, אז סליחה. So all the bitterness in your life will come from the fact that you don't know, your doubts. That's all the bitterness in your life. Doubts will cause us to see nothing. We were not going to be able to see what's good in anything if we have doubts. As long as and doubts will cause us to have a separation from unity. The expertise of Amalek is to put doubts and coldness in people. Why? Asher karcha baderech. Karcha, cold. You became a cold heart. Al תרחה קרחה משום מקרה, אלא קרחה משום קור. He made you cold. To put in your mind thoughts which contradicts the emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what Amalek did to us in Kriyat Yam Suf also. All the time. And he comes to you, he says, it's a natural experience. Let me explain to you. There was a volcano in the Mediterranean. That's a natural thing. Those people who explain to you the Torah naturally put doubt in your emunah. I don't like it. It's a thing today. I don't understand for what? To show how much they know science? So go learn science. Oh, it's too hard. We don't need that. We have emunah pshuta. Simple emunah. I don't like those things. And this is why Amalek is the enemy. Amalek is the enemy that we have all the time, throughout. Is our ultimate arch enemy. Why? Because it's always about doubts. And our Torah gives us a commandment to erase the zera, the seed of Amalek. Zera Amalek, the seeds of doubt that are inside of you. The only thing that could overcome the power of Amalek and the power of Balak and Bilam is, as we said before, the power of the mouth. Limud, Torah, and Tefillah. Learning Torah and prayer. This is the only dibur tov that causes good things in this world. You pray for something good to happen. You put, as we say, the Torah is clean. You put new and clean ideas in a place that you learn. So when you learn Torah, in a way you become a filter for all the bad energy. Again, like the tree that cleanses the air, you clean the place when you learn Torah. We need to understand that our job is to fix the place, to build it, to change reality to a reality of kedusha, of holiness. That's why it's very important that we say certain things out loud in tefillah. Shema Yisrael, tzarich sheyashmi'a le'ozno. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. You need to say out loud that God is one, to remove the doubts from you and from others. That you're not embarrassed to say God is one. You're not embarrassed to say there is a God at all. How many people, if you go, you put them in a room with a lot of intellectuals, they say, yes, and God, I know, maybe he's a concept. Yes, what's the matter? There is a God. What's the matter? What's the problem to say? You need to say it out loud. That's why many parts of tefillah need to be said out loud, just because of this reason. And to that we say, Al tiri tolat Yaakov. Don't be afraid, the womb of Yaakov. Why? Because the power is in your mouth. The power of tefillah, that's why the punishment of Moshe last week was so great. He refused to speak to it, to show the true power. As we said last week, we changed the world by this. And I want to finish quickly. We still did not understand how did the blessing of Bilam turn into a curse. It ended up to be a curse. When Bilam blesses Am Yisrael, he gives them an abundance of brachot. A lot of brachot. So therefore there's a situation, what we call a spiritual abundance. It's like a waterfall that comes down. The problem is that Bnei Yisrael saw themselves beruchim. Liot baruch is to have the entity of blessed. Like a person would say, Ani mu'ar, I'm enlightened, I am blessed. They said, right, with such an abundance of brachot, there's nothing really much to do. So therefore there's nothing much to do. I mean, we had it made, so therefore there was not hitchabut, there was no connection to what, Mark? To asiyah, to an action. All right, we're blessed already. There's, it's like you won the lottery and you're sitting there and, no, you need to do something. Always you got to do something. You should understand that the boundaries between a bracha, a blessing, and a klala is very thin. When a person does not stand guard and is not connected or is being connected to an action, to an asiyah, all the spiritual powers might turn into a curse. The fact that saying, as we said before, Ani Baruch, I am blessed, like a title. Person does not pay attention how those negative forces slowly take over the source of energy, the chayut inside of him, his spiritual energy, and they use it as a negative energy source to make a downfall. Chazal says, Kol hagadol mechavero, Yitzor gadol mimeno. He who is greater than his friend, his yetzer, his urges are greater than that. So therefore, when I have a lot of brachot, I become bigger. It allows me more power. I can fly higher, and when I fly higher, guess what happens? I can fall with a big thumb, and I could fall, and it's a big crash. Bilam understood that. He understood that he cannot curse the Jews, so therefore he blesses them too much. It's too much. Person needs to understand that he is not Baruch. He is Mevorach. He is blessed by other. He is not blessed because of himself. The only one who is Baruch, is the source of the brachot, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy Blessed One. We are all blessed by Him. So when you don't understand that, you fall. You need to understand that the bracha must be rooted and directed to an action, a positive action, because by doing so, it's a gift to you. It was giving you a gift. By doing so, you're going to supervise the whole process, and by doing so, the bracha would remain a bracha and not become a klala, chas v'shalom. Yehi ratzon she'am Yisrael is always going to be blessed, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will continue to bless us, and we should shed light to the nations, and we show the world that God is one, and God is one.